Animation errors in SpongeBob are pretty funny to see, and today we're going to be showing you guys some more animation errors that have just slipped through editing. Like in the episode Squirrel Jelly when Sandy is flying, we noticed an unusual mistake. She is missing her bikini in this shot. But you might think that, since she's wearing her suit, she isn't wearing the bikini. But that's not the case. Because in the later scenes, her suit opens briefly, and we can see she's wearing the bikini. So this is definitely an error. Help Wanted is the very first episode of this iconic TV show.
Today's the big day, Gary.
And in the very first scene is where we find our very first mistake. SpongeBob's house is actually missing a window, and this is proven by multiple different angles that we'll eventually get to see as the series continues. But one could argue that maybe this was the original state of the house, and SpongeBob would eventually upgrade it to include an additional window. So this one is up for discussion, but what's not up for discussion is this next error. In the same episode, SpongeBob is getting super excited for his big day because he will apply to be a cook at the Krusty Krab. When he reaches Krusty Krab's, he admires the restaurant, calling it the finest eating establishment, which we think everyone can agree on.
The finest eating establishment ever established for eating.
Anyways, in this scene, we can see that SpongeBob is looking at the Krusty Krab, and he's standing on the sand. Yet, in the very next shot, he's out on the road. Like, does he have a teleporting device or something? And later in this scene, as SpongeBob shouts that he is ready to go in and ask for a job, his collar, which is always white, becomes red. Moving on, in one of the episodes, SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs are riding on a boat car, carboat, boatmobile, whatever it is called. Anyway, so here we can see the vehicle has a cash register in front of it. However, in literally the next scene, it's completely gone. How did this happen? Now, the funny thing about this scene is that they kept it consistent. Going back to the episode Help Wanted. In one of the scenes, Squidward can be seen removing graffiti of himself from the entrance of the Krusty Krab. You can even see the word loser with an arrow towards a drawing of him. He hears SpongeBob coming his way and looks back to see what's going on. And you know, he sees SpongeBob. But here's the mistake. After Squidward looks back to see SpongeBob, the arrow is now gone. And not just that, Squidward drawing has also changed a bit. Earlier, the forehead of the drawing had no wrinkles, but now there are a few wrinkles on it.
I've been training my whole life for the day I could join the Krusty Crew.
In the episode Bossy Boots, Mr. Krabs has his daughter try and make the Krusty Krab look cool and hip. So they get these fancy new uniforms thanks to Pearl. But there is an error with the uniform later on. As we can see, the uniforms are long-sleeved, coming all the way down to the wrists. But in the scene where Pearl gives SpongeBob a new menu, during the close-up shot of it, we can see SpongeBob's arms and hands, but the sleeves are gone. It's just his normal yellow skin. But earlier, the uniform was covering his entire arm. In the same episode, we noticed an unusual mistake. We'll play the scene for you, so you can spot it.
My cuddly executive buddy reduces stress for only 5 easy payments at $9.95. The Cuddly Crab. What would we do without these beautiful $20 sea unicorn ones?
Did you spot the mistake? Notice what happened to the sea unicorn. Earlier, when we saw it in the background when Mr. Krabs squeezed his stress buddy, it had a horn. But during the close-up shot, that horn is gone, and it's just a regular seahorse. And speaking of the stress buddy, there's a mistake with it too. When Mr. Krabs is crying, it's on his desk. But when SpongeBob walks up to him, the stress buddy is no longer on the desk. It's just disappeared. Now this next mistake was one of the hardest ones to spot. Look at these two characters here. Look at their shirt colors. The boy is wearing green and the girl is wearing pink. Now remember their sitting position. The green shirt is sitting towards the right side, near the tire. But the mistake is, when they slide down the hill, if we look at their sitting positions, it has swapped. We don't think they could have changed their position midway, right? Now this one is not really much of an animation error, but more of a logical error. As we know, SpongeBob is a sponge and Patrick is a starfish. Now let's look at this scene. What just happened to SpongeBob? Rewind it if you want to, but water got into SpongeBob. Now, sponges are supposed to soak up that water. You know, if you throw water on a sponge, it's not supposed to drip off or anything, it's supposed to soak it. So, when the water is just dripping off SpongeBob's face, that is a logical error. Moving on, in the episode Bubble Buddy, watching SpongeBob being so considerate to his new friend while everyone else gets angry is hilarious. But did you see that mistake in the last scene? When Squidward first grabs the Krabby Patty, it's got lettuce on it. But when he sets it down on the table, suddenly the lettuce is gone, and it's just cheese. SpongeBob then tells Squidward that Bubble Buddy is lactose intolerant. When he does, watch the top right corner of SpongeBob. Now, we don't know how to describe this mistake, but did you see the corner of SpongeBob move when Squidward talked? The right corner of SpongeBob moves with Squidward's nose when he says, and like we know, Squidward has a big nose, but it's causing errors now. And that's not all. When SpongeBob first introduces Bubble Buddy to Squidward, there's an error there too. As we can see here, Squidward is wearing his Krusty Krab hat, but when he looks into his reflection, the Krusty Krab hat vanishes, and not just from the reflection, but it isn't even on Squidward's head in the scene. Next is episode Wormy, and we spotted a series of mistakes here. At the beginning of the episode, Sandy introduces SpongeBob and Patrick to her creatures. And there's a mistake here. When the shot cuts to SpongeBob right as he's about to speak, his eyelashes aren't there. They appear whenever he straightens his back. And Sandy leaves right after this, and she's in her bikini when she walks away. But when she reaches the door, she's got her suit and helmet on. While it's possible she changed between shots, just the way she walks off camera and then back on makes it seem like she didn't stop walking. So the suit just kinda appears on her body. Later on, when SpongeBob and Patrick are running around, watch the air around them. There are bubbles. But there shouldn't be. They are in Sandy's tree dome, which has no water. The bubbles don't make sense here and are a big goof on the creator's part. We'll run through these errors real quick, because there are a lot of them. And there are so many objects that disappear in this episode, like this jar. SpongeBob drops it, then there's a close-up of the butterfly. And when the camera cuts back, the jar on the ground is gone. Next is SpongeBob's arm. In the scene, it's a little hard to see, but slowed down, his arm disappears right as they're about to run. And then we have this apple. The apple is in Patrick's mouth, and then floats to the top of his water helmet. But when the camera cuts back to him, the apple is gone too.
He's saying hello to you. Ain't he cute?
Sorry, I don't speak Italian.
In the episode The Lost Mattress, Squidward reveals to Mr. Krabs that he had his old mattress taken away to the dump. Mr. Krabs gets furious at him, revealing that he kept all his cash in that mattress. It turns out Mr. Krabs' lumpy mattress is hiding a fortune. Mr. Krabs is having a rough time, but at least the Krusty Krab is open for business. Speaking of which, if we look back at the first scene where Mr. Krabs is trying to pick up his keys, you'll notice there is no keyhole on the door behind him. But when it cuts back to him apologizing to SpongeBob, the keyhole appears on the left of the door. Now that you're looking for it, you may have noticed that the keyhole disappears again when the camera cuts to Squidward.
Right here? Where?
So, these were some of the mistakes we spotted in SpongeBob. And as always, we'll see you all in the next video.